Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I am Michelle Solis from This Must Be Ink. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Seekonk, Massachusetts. This is my Stamp and Flip One Sheet Wonder workshop. This is where we take one piece of 12 by 12 paper and cut it in half, and we make one set of cards with one side and one set of cards with the other side. So this month's template, this is episode 18. This month's template is going to make 10 cards. I have combined some of the pieces together, which I will show you. And so I came up with 10 cards. If you use all the pieces separately, you can come up with even more. Okay, so let us turn the camera down and I will show you the template and the cards that I created. This template, you can download it or print it from my group page, which is Crafty Kraken Create. And up in the files section, you will see all the templates from all the episodes. As I said, this is episode 18. They will all be there, so you can download those or print them. And so you'll have some One Sheet Wonder templates to use with your designer series paper. Hi, Jeanne. Thanks for... Oh, I thought it was Jeanne. I think this is Amy. Hi, Amy. Thanks for joining. Okay, so we're going to turn the camera around and I will show you what we created here. Let me see. Okay, so this is the template, and you can see we've got A, B, C, 2 D pieces, and 2 E pieces. And as I said, I combined some of these on some of the cards and did 10 cards total, so 5 with each side of the paper. So these are the cards that I came up with. This paper is called True Blue Florals. It's a 12 by 12 piece of paper. So this was the first side. As you can see, this is the A piece that we cut diagonally in half. So I used 1/2 of that on this card with a little die cut and a sentiment. And then the other half at the bottom here with just a round sentiment. And then here I combined the B and C pieces on one card with a sentiment and a few die cuts. And here I combined the 2 D pieces with a simple sentiment. And then the last one, I combined the 2 E pieces on one mat with a simple sentiment there. Okay, so that was 5 cards from the one side of the paper. And then with the other side of the paper, I did very similar. This was one of the A pieces. And then the second A piece, again with a die. This one combined the B and C. And then this one combined the 2 D pieces. This one, I should maybe have put a different color underneath to give it a little bit more definition. But you can see, I think that these are 2 pieces here. Hi, Jeanne. Thanks for joining. And then the last one, these are the 2 E pieces again combined, but I matted them separately this time and then staggered them instead of putting them side by side. And on this one, I embossed this mat. And so you might wonder why I all of a sudden pulled in this other color, and I just couldn't decide what to do here. And I didn't want to use a balmy blue mat behind this balmy blue paper. So what I did was I pulled out my color wheel. This is the Stampin' Up! Color wheel that is available on their website. And you can see here, these are complementary colors across from each other. So if you line this up on Balmy Blue, you'll see that the complementary color is either Calypso Coral or Cajun Craze. So I liked Calypso Coral a little bit better. I wanted to keep it a little bit lighter. So that's why I picked that color to complement this paper. I think it came out pretty good. I like it. I would not have chosen that off the top of my head, but I liked it. Okay, but tonight we're just going to stick with Balmy Blue and Night of Navy because I chose a different pattern. So this is the pattern that we're using tonight. This is one side. This is the side I'll be using tonight. And then this is the other side. And so the cards with this side, I will put up on the website once I get them finished tonight. Let me turn another light on here. Okay. Let's see a little bit better. Okay. So this has got the Balmy Blue and Night of Navy. Okay. I don't know if that light made it better or not. Anyway. All right, let's cut the paper. So here's the template, as I said. So we're going to do, first thing we're going to do is cut this paper in half. So we're cutting it at 6 inches. And we're going to put this side aside to make cards with this side, which will be up on the website later. This is the side we're going to use tonight, and this is the cutting template for that. All right, so the first cut we're going to make is here at 5 1/4. So we're going to turn our paper and go to 5 1/4. And then I'm going to turn that back. So it's this way now. And we're going to cut this at 4 inches. And that's going to be my A piece. And then this is going to be my 2-inch D piece. Okay, so then we're going to take this. What did I do? It goes this way. I knew I was going to mess this up. As soon as I cut it, I was like, nope, hang on. Okay, we're going this way. Okay, we're going to turn it. So 5 1/4 again. There we go. Nope. I just totally messed that up. How did I do that? All right, hang on. How do I manage to mess this up? Hang on. Do I have another piece of that paper? I don't know. Well, we might have to punt. Hang on. And hopefully everyone is laughing with me because at this point, all right, we're going to use this one. All right. Oh my goodness. Let's not do that again. Well, now I have all new sizes of pieces to use. All right. Starting over. This is 12 by 12. Good grief. All right. Don't do what I did. Let's start over. Cut it in half, and you're going to have 6 by 12. I hope this is 12 inches. 1 second. Yes, it is. Okay. All right, let's cut the big pieces first, and then we'll worry about the little pieces. All right, so we're going to turn it. We're going to cut it at 5 1/4, and we're going to put that aside. Then we're going to cut it at 5 1/4 again, so we don't mess it up and turn it a different way. That'll be the second piece. And then this is going to be the last piece. All right, so let's go back to this one. This is going to get cut at 4. And that's going to be your A piece and your D piece. All right. Then this one, we're going to cut it at 2 3/4. for the B piece. Then the C piece, we're going to cut it at 1 1/4. And then that should leave you with a 2-inch D piece. Another one the same as that. Then this last piece here, we're going to cut this in half at 3 inches. And that will be your 2 E pieces. Okay, phew. That's all the cutting we need to do. Thank goodness. All right, so we're going to set this aside. First, we're going, oh no, we have to cut this one. First, we're going to use our A piece. And as you can see on the template, we're going to cut that in half diagonally. So what I did was put this, I put the top right-hand corner into my track, and then the bottom left-hand corner into the track at the same time. You want to get the point right in the middle of your cutting track. And then bring my blade down and go up and down to cut that in half. So you'll get those 2 pieces from that 1 A piece. Of course, you could choose to use it just as 1 full piece if you want to. All right, so my first card, this is a card base that is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. Okay, and I've got a mat that is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I've got my piece for inside and my sentiment piece. Okay, so what I have done with this is taken this triangular piece, and that's going to fit exactly on the corner of your mat from one edge to the other. So we're going to just glue that down. And if I glue it with it down on the desk, I'm going to stick it right to the desk. And why wouldn't we have glue problems? Okay, hang on. It's coming. It's going to explode on me any second. Watch. It's got like a little bubble in there. All right. This is why I keep a little pin at my desk. Because if I get that little bubble in there, there we go. I think that's working. Oh. Well, you know, this is real-time crafting. If there's going to be a problem, it's going to be a problem and it's going to happen. That's how it is. It's Murphy's Law. All right. All right, I'm going to leave that on its side so it doesn't. Hopefully it'll be better next time I pick it up. All right, so we're going to go right to the top edge and to the side edge of this piece. And then that's going to go right on the front of your card. Let's see, if we're doing any better with our glue here. Just does not want to work. Oh my goodness, and I have squirrels outside playing on my windowsill. Which is just a little distracting. Oh my goodness, guys, what's happening with my glue? I may have to go find a new glue. 1 sec. All right, let me go see what I can find. Hang on. All right. Let's see if this one will work any better. Okay, that seems to be flowing. Oh, no. I'm upside down. All right, here we go. I did test that glue before I started, and I still didn't get it to work. All right, and then we're going to put our sentiment piece inside. And then we're going to do our sentiment. I was going tonight to use the Begonia Bell set, which is the product of the month for July, for my sentiments and my image. So this is the set, Begonia Bell. This is the product of the month. So it's available for $5 if you spend $75. It's a very nice set, and it's got some nice sentiments. Sending lots of happiness your way. Thank you for everything you do. You are my sunshine. Best wishes. And it's got this beautiful flower. So we're going to stamp that flower tonight. I'm going to do it in Night of Navy and Balmy Blue. So I like to do this, this piece that's got all of the detail of the flower first. So I'm going to ink that up in Night of Navy and stamp. And then I'm going to use the other one, which puts the color into the flower. I'm going to do that in Balmy Blue. So you want to line this up, this image with this one. And I can tell you that it's got these areas of color here that are going to fit into these white areas. So that's how you're going to figure out how to line this up perfectly. They're going to fit perfectly into those open areas there. So it's a little easier to do if you're right looking down on it, but we're going to do the best we can here. There we go. And this is looking really dark, but that's going to lighten up as it dries. Okay, and then I had a best wishes. And I was going to grab my my sentiment punches here. Okay, and do a little sentiment on top of that. So let's punch ourselves a little sentiment piece. And we're going to do best wishes. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so we're going to just add that to the front of the card with some dimensionals. I wish you could hear these squirrels out here. They're yelling at each other. They make a weird, like, grunting noise. I don't know which way this flower looks best. Let's do it this way. And then I'm just going to put the best wishes right here. So I'm going to put some glue on this edge and put a dimensional on this edge. So it'll be at the same level as my flower. And this glue wants to do too much glue at one time. There we go. All right, so that's the card with one of your A pieces. And I've got some embellishments that I think are Balmy Blue. I'm not really sure. These are some old sequins. And they were pretty close, I thought, to Balmy Blue. There we go. Okay, so the second card will be pretty much the same. We're going to use the same triangular piece. Let me put this sentiment piece inside. If I don't put these in right away, I forget completely, and then I go to use the card, and I have no sentiment space to write inside. There we go. Okay, so this one we're going to put the designer series paper down at the bottom and line it up exactly the same. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Margaret. Thanks for joining me. And Lynn. Hi, Lynn. Oh, and Julie's here. Thanks for joining, guys. All right, so that's going to go right on the front of your card. Like that. Okay. This time I'm going to use the other image that's in this set, which is also a flower. It's a little leaf with the little buds here. So again, I'm going to do this in Night of Navy and Balmy Blue, just keeping with the theme. So we're going to stamp that over here to one side. Who says flowers have to be green and pink or green and yellow? Okay, and then I've got the image with the two flower buds that should line up with the stems. Just like that. And then, well, let's see if this will fit. I think this should just fit in there. Let's do Night of Navy. So this is the sending lots of happiness your way sentiment. And again, we'll just pop that up with some dimensionals. And that will be card number 2. And we'll just get some bling. Look at that. I'm also remembering the bling tonight. I lost it. These will be all done, which will be nice. Okay. So there's card number 2. Then the third one is the card that we are going to use the B and C pieces on. So this one does not have a mat. We've just got our piece for the inside and our sentiment piece, or our sentiment label. Okay, so for this one, we're using the B and C piece, which is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4 and 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. Now you can choose to put them on like this, or you can flip this one over and use the other side to give it a contrast. And this whole template was designed around these 2 pieces, which I actually borrowed from one of Julie James's cards that she made. I thought this looked really nice. These two pieces together on the front of the card. Okay, so one goes to the left and one to the right. You can swap positions and put this one on the left if you want the little one on the left. It's up to you. Just get those lined up there, just like that. And then we'll just do a sentiment on here. I'm going to do that same, sending lots of love, lots of happiness your way. Oh, I was going to do this background. I forgot about that. All right, let's do this. I haven't used this yet. This is a little texture stamp that came in this set, and I haven't used it yet. So let's use this on the background behind our sentiment. So I'm going to stamp it off so it'll be nice and light when it hits the paper here. And stamp off again. I'm going to turn it this way. There we go. And then let's get the sentiment on there. Okay, just gives it a little bit more interest there. And then we'll pop that up. Well, now it's raining out there. Maybe that's why the squirrels were acting so crazy. Okay, so we're just gonna set that right there in between those two panels. And we're going to get some bling. I keep losing track of my bling. Let's do them all on here. There we go. Okay, so that's card number 3 with the B and C piece. Then the 4th card will be with the 2 D pieces. So I combined these 2 D pieces on the front here, again with no mat. So I'm going to just put this white piece in here first. Of course, when you're doing your cards, you can stamp a sentiment on here or a little image on the inside of your card. But just for time's sake, we're going to just leave these blank. And we're going to get these 2 strips on here. Side by side. And I'm just trying to give it the same space at the top and the bottom. And then just get them side by side with the same spacing there. There we go. And then we just need a sentiment for here. So I was going to use the long sentiment in this set, which is, oh, thank you for everything you do. And just keep it nice and simple. And pop that up. There we go. And of course you can add some die cuts or some stamped images to the front and make it as fancy as you'd like. We're just going to keep it a little simple for tonight. And my bling just keeps wanting to stick to me. Okay, so there is card number 4. And then the last one is combining those 2 E pieces. Nope, that's not the E pieces. That's the mats. These are the E pieces. There we go. And then I made this little sentiment label for it. Those were all cut with the stylish shaped dies, all the sentiment pieces. And this white piece I embossed with the Floral Spray 3D embossing folder. So that's what we're using for tonight. So let's get this inside. Oh, Martha jumped on too. Hi, Martha. Hi, Courtney. Sorry I missed you guys. I was busy gluing. All right. Okay, so then these 2 little E pieces are going to get matted. And these mats, I believe, are 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. So along with the template on the Crafty Kraken page under the file section, you'll also find the PDF with all the cards and all the measurements for the mats and the card bases are on there. Oh, we made it crooked. 1 second. Okay, so now I'm going to add this mat to the front of my card base. I just love this embossing folder. Just center that up there. Okay, and then I put my paper into the embossing folder specifically to try to get this flower in the upper kind of left corner, because I want to put these over that big flower, but leaving these smaller flowers. Might be hard for you to see them. There's some smaller flower images here. So I'm going to glue these down. One there, and I'm just going to overlap this one. But I'm going to leave the flower that's here, and there's one up at the top, so we can still see them. And then we've got some leaf images in here as well. Okay, so we've got this little round label, and I don't remember what I was putting on there. I don't think this is gonna, oh, yes, it will fit. I love this little thing. Sending lots of happiness your way. So we're going to go with the Night of Navy. And then just get that onto the layering circle. And then just pop that up. and right about here. There we go. Oh, I left this open. I almost put my arm right in it. All right, then we'll get some bling on this one. And that, whoops, that should be it. Okay. All right, so that is 5 cards from half of your piece of designer series paper. And I will make the other 5 cards and then put those up on my This Must Be Ink page for you guys to see when I do the other ones with the other side of the paper. Okay, so hopefully you've got some good starting places there with some good sized pieces, and depending on your paper and what you decide to decorate it with, you can come up with some nice cards. I hope you'll try it. All right, all right, let's get rid of this. Get rid of that. There we go. Okay, I think that's it. Everything's all crazy after I get going. Okay, so that's it for me tonight. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you will download or print that template and give it a try. There's endless ways you can glue those pieces of paper together. And as I said, this will make 10 cards from both sides of that paper, or if you don't use them combined, if you use these pieces separately, you will get even more than 10. All right, so I look forward to seeing if you guys try the template, and if so, please post your cards either on the Crafty Crack and Create page or on my This Must Be Ink page. I'd love to see what you guys make. All right, everyone, that's it for me. Until Friday night, I'll be back with my Stamp and Sip on Friday night, and we will do some kind of a little fun fold card, and I hope to see you then. Till then, stay crafty, my friends. See you Friday.